What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you so much for tuning in. It's me, Mikey Pipes. It's Monday. And while I don't love me Fridays as a Monday, it still is another glorious day. 15 minutes after 6 here in the morning in the great state of New York. We're here at our headquarters at 1010 Central Avenue in Woodmere, which is on Long Island in the great state of New York. We're making a modification to the ACiQ ductless mini split mobile display unit. But first, I got to tell you a story. And the story is how if Gio was hired again, I would immediately fire him again. You guys ready? Let's go. I'm not joking. I gotta admit, our ACiQ ductless mini split training display is quite awesome. It really is. And when I packaged it with my Mikey Pipes model MP SPD01, it really is a win-win. It really is. We have voltage monitoring. We have amperage protection, even though you don't need 63 amps. It's just basically go over it on and off switch. And we have surge protection. And a device that's assembled in the United States right here at 1010 Central Avenue. This is a win-win for your clients. If you're interested in buying one with a 6-foot whip is $175. With a 10-foot whip is $185. It's made, hand-built by me here in New York. We have the 3-zone ACiQ 18,000 BTU outdoor unit paired with a 9,000 BTU wall mount. I believe this is a 9. I could be mistaken. Could be a 12. But this is their ductless mini split slim ceiling cassette. Yeah, that's the only sticker I have on there. I'm pretty sure it's a 9. We're going to be adding a floor mount to this unit. That way you can see 3 of their indoor offerings that you can pair with an outdoor unit. It's pretty cool. It really is pretty cool. We're going to probably put that right here. Awesome. So, if Gio was rehired, I would immediately fire him again. And it probably won't be as peaceful as it was last time when I just told him it's time for him to go. Just like that, right? You guys watched the video. I just told him, listen, Gio, it's time to go. And he goes, I thought Friday was my last day. I was like, well, why prolong the inevitable? When we were assembling the slim ceiling cassette, it comes in a box, right? Just like everything comes in boxes, right? And in that box was another box that contains the trim, right? The trim is about 20 pounds. It has the motors, the filter assembly, the display module, the harness that plugs into the motherboard. I was going to say mothership. So when I told him to throw out the garbage, guess where that bezel assembly went? In the garbage as well. So now I have to order a $350 bezel assembly, and my display unit is not complete. And some of you are saying, well, you should have been supervising him. I don't have to babysit every single person. If I have to babysit you, you're paying me, right? Come on. How dumb can you be to throw out a heavy box that was still sealed nonetheless? Can you believe that? Absolutely unbelievable. Fortunately, Hot Penny's going to hook us up. It's going to leave out today out of Vandalia, Ohio. And we're going to put the wall-mounted unit here. We'll fix that up, and then I can plug this in to my 20-amp circuit that I had my electrician run. This is awesome. It really is awesome. I can't wait to share this with you. I cannot wait. Well, it's Monday, folks. We have a few installations and many service calls this week. Yesterday, the mayor of New York City made headlines once again. Apparently, he thinks he's like invincible. While not attending New York City's annual Israel parade, the child was around in a suit and dress shoes on a bicycle. That's right, folks, a bicycle. There is that little fruitcake. There he is. No helmet on. While thousands upon thousands of other people were celebrating down Fifth Avenue, I guess he was making a stance. It would have been nice if he busted his ass and split his cranium open. It would have been. But he lives another day. You know, New York City doesn't have a helmet law for adults. But if you're under 14, you need to wear a helmet. And that child, he's not wearing a helmet. Why isn't Zoran? Why isn't he wearing a helmet? He's not even an adult. He's a baby riding around on a bicycle. You know, yesterday I got an email from, what's his name? I think his name was, I don't know. I can't find the email. But the guy emails me yesterday, sorry. Mikey Pipes. And it was one of these trolls sitting in their parents' basement, you know, wearing their parents. I forgot his name, and I can't even find the email. I'm looking for it. He's a troll sitting in his parents' basement wearing his sister's panties. All right? And he emails me that, you know, your president is a war criminal. He invaded a country, a sovereign country. I'm like, oh my God, here we go again. He was like, he should be impeached again. And this fruitcake lunatic was talking about how there's a conflict in Iran. What he fails to understand, and what others fail to understand that are brainwashed by social media, is that this conflict, I'm not even going to call it a war because they don't got a standing chance, right? This conflict, you know, which he apparently thinks is the United States and Israel and some of our allies against the country of Iran. But it's not. This conflict that's going on in Iran, in the Persian Gulf, the Middle East, is civilization against barbarism, right? These are not people. These are lunatics. You can't even call them animals because animals take care of their young. These are just, I don't know, they're stuck in the 5th century. They really are. They're stuck in like prehistoric times, these Iranian people. They really are. That's my guy. Every time he drives by on his way to work, subscriber, he honks his horn in his Jeep. Hi, Jeep. These people don't care about women's rights, right? They don't care, you know, about the rights for homosexuals. They don't. They will kill them, right? But you have these idiots who have no idea what they're talking about want to defend these lunatics. It's insane. It really is insane. So it's not just the United States and Israel versus Iran. Iran wants to wipe us all out, folks. If you're not of their belief, they want to kill us all. Look at how I don't want to say, I hate to say it like the Muslim religion overall, but they're trying to conquer the world. They really are. And if you want to come to look at Omar, right? She's not from America. She hates America. She wants death to America. She wants to she wants to not take on our beliefs and ways in life. They want us to take their ways and beliefs, right? Instead of embracing our culture, they're trying to change our culture. You know what I'm talking about, folks. So you have these lunatics that are stuck in prehistoric times that are trying to take over the world. I read an article yesterday in the New York Post, and it was about this politician woman who's running for some kind of assembly person position, and she hates America, right? And she's not even born here. I'm sorry, if you're not born in America, right, you have no right. You should have no right to be in a position to change our culture. I don't know. I really don't know. It's dumbfounding to me. Look at this Zoran Mamdani guy, right? He wants to be for the people, but he's making a stance about not going to the Israel Day parade on Fifth Avenue yesterday, right? And he campaigned on that when he was running for mayor of New York City. So I guess he's for the people, just not the Jewish people of New York, right? Because he's standing on ceremony, standing on principle that, hey, I'm not going to go to that, because, Israel shouldn't exist. It's insane. Insane. Absolutely insane. Anyway, let me show you this, and then let's end it. All right, folks. This is the Mikey Pipes SPD Model 01. SPD, MP SPD 01, right? The highlight of the SPD 01 is just the overall, the case. We have European technology at its finest here. You have an outdoor waterproof container, right? You have surge protection. You have your disconnect with a circuit breaker. Now, granted, this is for 63 amps. Where the goal is not to have over amperage protection in this device, right? That relies on your main breaker for that circuit. Power monitoring. And then we have our load side. So let me quickly explain to you what we have going on here. Everything will be labeled, right? So you have connection L1 and L2 connection. So from here, right? From here, one lead from each goes to the surge protection device. The other lead from each goes to L1, L2 on the top of our circuit breaker. There's a connection on each for L1, L2 from your main. Okay? Leaving your circuit breaker, we have one terminal going around through our power monitor so I can read amperage, and that goes to our load. Okay? And then the other one goes to our power monitor. Okay? So you have one coming in and then two going out. On the other side of that, right here, right, goes to our load and our power monitor. And then the only other field connection here is ground. You're going to have the ground from your load, the equipment, and the incoming ground from your main. So this is the box. Quite simple. $175, shipped to you anywhere in the United States with a 6-foot whip. Okay? If you want a 10-foot whip, another $10, $185. Not too shabby. When you think about how the Rector Seal one is $450, right? And it's not as cool looking as mine. You're actually getting a phenomenal deal. And you know it. You know it's true. Phenomenal deal. And I am actively working with the owner of ACiQ. Oh, by the way, I got to tell you a story about the owner of ACiQ. Oh, my God. What an amazing man. Talk about giving back to the community. So I'm actually working with the the owner of ACiQ, and we are going to be, hopefully, mass producing something like this here in America, right here in the great communist state of New York. Dead serious. I got invited the other day to I wouldn't call it the company party, the ACiQ company party, but there it is. But the 250th July 4th party that is sponsored by the owner of ACiQ. We're going to have, to my understanding, I could be wrong, it's a company party as well. So all of the employees, and there are hundreds, I think there's 800 employees with ACiQ and subsidiaries. It's an amazing festival. And there's contests, and there's like tens of thousands of dollars of cash prizes, and it's free. And you have like all the neighboring communities, they come in, and Kevin was saying, like, these people can't believe everything's free, right? But he's done this for many, many years. And I was invited to go, so it's awesome. So thank you, Kevin, for inviting me. I really appreciate it. It's awesome. But and it's in sponsorship, in collaboration with his church and another church as well in Troy, Ohio. But I'm looking forward to it. I sent my wife the flyer that was sent to me, and she's like, "Oh my God, like this is what he puts together." I was like, "Yeah." I don't want to disclose too much information. I don't know how public or how much news he wants, publicity he wants on it, but I'm really looking forward to going. I have my flights booked. We have the car rental, and we have accommodations. So it's going to be awesome. So the end of June, I'll be in Ohio with Dr. and Mrs. Pipe for a few days. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, 4 days. Looking forward to it. Really, really looking forward to it. But we are working on a version of this that will be available when you purchase an ACiQ system from from ACiQ.com as a dealer. This is I would call this a premium insurance policy, right? You have a surge protection device right here. That's like a regular insurance policy. You're putting in these inverter-based systems. You really want to protect the equipment. You have to. I know a lot of you have been probably installing ductless mini splits for many, many years. I've been putting them in for almost 20 years now. And they're inverter systems, right? But now as unitary equipment is also adopting inverter equipment as well, we need to take precaution because today's inverter-driven systems, HVAC equipment systems, they're not your father's air conditioner. These systems are loaded with sensitive electronics. We have variable speed compressors, DC-driven motors, ECM motors, communication boards, inverter drives that they constantly monitoring and adjusting power consumption. You need to protect this equipment. It's no longer a day where you have a contactor and a capacitor in the outdoor unit. You have these giant boards that are thousands of dollars. One voltage spike, one brownout, one lightning event, a utility malfunction. Look at this. The PSE&G restored my power, after 8 days of cutting me off. Didn't even check the meter. And I'm still fighting for that, even though we're in litigation. Right? So even a loose neutral can cause thousands of dollars in damage. So that's why I believe, and that's why my company installs things like this on our systems when we install them, right? Every inverter-driven system should have 2 layers of protection. 2, not just 1. Surge protection, power monitoring. Surge protection, that helps absorb voltage spikes before they even reach the inverter board. I had a client 2 years ago. We installed a Carrier 2-stage 17-SEER system. And for whatever reason, I don't even know why I did it, because it was out of the norm But we installed a surge protection device on the outdoor unit. Do you know that she called about a month later after we did that install? They had no air conditioning. I'm like, oh man, that sucks. Like, it's brand new. Check the make sure the circuit breaker's on. Goes, yes. I'm like, all right. I head out there, and the surge protector was blown up, and it was a rector seal, a good one, right? It absorbed, and it turned up that she had a power surge, right? So the surge protection device absorbs that damaging voltage spikes before they reach the equipment. But surge protection isn't enough. A power monitor continuously watches the electrical supply and can shut off the equipment down if it detects a low voltage, so undercurrent. And it can also for over voltage as well. Phase loss, if you have multiple phase of power. And abnormal operating conditions. So think of something like this as a premium insurance policy. Think of just this as an insurance policy. You should be installing this anyway on all of your HVAC installs. Guys, I took enough of your time up this morning, Monday, June 1st. If you're interested, it sound like a broken record, interested in becoming an ACiQ dealer, there's no cost, no obligation. You'll get dealer status without having to pay them anything. Try a system out. Just try one. Trust me, I promise you, if you don't like it, I will buy it back. I will personally buy the equipment back. Buy one system from ACiQ, whether it's a ductless, if that's what you install, whether it's unitary equipment, if that's what you install. All right? And then if you don't have a great experience with it, I'll buy it back from you. I will. And you know what? You can throw it in the garbage. You can. And I genuinely make this offer because that is how much I believe in the product. I have it installed. I have their systems installed in investment properties that I own. I exclusively install the equipment for my clients when they need to replace their HVAC system. It's great equipment at almost a builder's grade price. Dead serious. Stop buying that Daikin junk. Catch you in the next one. Be well. God bless. Stay safe.